Let's come to this now. The City of Joburg is caught in the middle of a water storm. Residents in some areas haven't had water for weeks. Brixton is one such area, as residents have been protesting against a 7-week drought. Now, during power cuts, Brixton is often the first to struggle because it supplies high-lying areas and we understand the reticulation relies on pressure to push water. But when then residents, can they expect to have water supplies back? That's the big question. So let's just get some more information from Joburg Water's Electro-mechanical manager. Gugulethu Quma joins me right now for this conversation. Gugulethu, thank you so much for your time and a very warm good evening to you. I think first of all, let's get some clarity because some residents in Brixton have been saying that they haven't been without water for up to 3 months. Is this the case? Is it true that Joburg Water hasn't supplied residents with water to the residents for that long?
Thank you so much, Tumelo, and good evening to the viewers. I must mention that the system, Brixton system is currently constrained. However, it has been a long time because we know now currently in the entire commando system, we rely on the stable supply from the bulk supply. But correctly said, we rely on pumping from the Crosby area to get water to the Brixton system. So currently, we do have challenges in terms of the capacity constraint with regards to the supply in that area, resulting in supply, the demand rather, exceeding the supply that is available. And with all those dynamics, we end up putting some interventions in place to ensure that during the night, where the night flows are expected, we do some throttling, which means that we reduce the flow. Or eventually we even close the outlet to ensure that we build capacity so that during the day we can have relatively water that is going through the system. Over the past 2 weeks, if I can look at the outlook of Brixton itself, we have been having reduced supply due to the constraint in terms of the supply, but we've been closing the outlet overnight, which means now at night the system introduces air and creates the problem. During the morning, we do the exercise again and open and flush the system to ensure that there's capacity, or the capacity we build at night is now restored normally back to the residents. Those residents now who are residing in high-lying areas are currently experiencing water outages because when we restore the system, when we restore the water will follow gravity and go to the low-lying areas and start building up back to the system until the system saturates to those high-lying areas, then they get water. It's the unfortunate dynamics of the water distribution system. Thank you.
Yeah. So supposed to repeat my question once again, Gugulethu, and for a more clearer answer, has the Brixton community been without water for 3 months? Is their statement correct that they have been deprived of water for that long? Or is the number of months or weeks exaggerated?
It has been a couple of months, but I haven't put it in the context of 3 months, but it is areas within Brixton, not the entire Brixton supply zone. It is areas within the Brixton supply zone that don't have water because when we restore operation, they start filling up the lower lying areas and lastly, the high lying areas. And in most cases, we also have air in that system, which now I must admit that over the past couple of months, there's been challenges in that system, and it is possible that some of the residents have not have water for quite a long time. Thank you, Tumel.
With that being said, Gugulethu, I mean, when can residents expect, the issues that you've just narrated right now, the constraints that are experienced in the area, when can they expect that, to be resolved and have water, access to water seemingly?
Over the past 2 days, the exercise of closing and throttling the outlets overnight have yielded some positive results, which we've managed to get the reservoir at least at 60% capacity in the morning when we start the day. But when we going through the day, we then lose the capacity that we built overnight. But I must say, over the past 2 days, the system now is currently recovering. We are in the right direction in terms of the system recovery, but it does take 5 to 7 days, the system itself, to take a good shape and recover, with obviously a constant supply without any disruption. But now within that period of 5 days, we may experience another challenge, and which will then take us aback in terms of the system recovery. But at this stage, we are in the right direction to restore normality in that supply zone. Thank you.
So you can't actually give a clear date or timeline, Gugulethu, as it stands right now, as when this issue will be resolved? Because you're saying that there's a possibility that there will be constant interruptions as you're trying to continue maintaining the water infrastructure, but also in trying to resolve the water issues there in Brixton.
We need a constant supply for 5 days in that system to fully restore and supply normal. So we are on the second day, and we are also flushing the system. But the challenge that is that during the evening peak, we experience high demand in that system, and we end up having to introduce some throttling over the night to retain some of the capacity of water while we continue pumping over the night, which now takes us aback in terms of the recovery. But let us give it Tumelo 5 to 7 days, which this trajectory we are in, then we will have a definite positive result at the end.
There have been some fears that, with the constant outages, the water infrastructure may completely collapse. What do you foresee here? I suppose this being important in trying to alleviate some of those fears from especially those residents heavily affected by lack of water, that the system may surely collapse. Do you foresee that happening?
No, the complete collapse, no. That I don't foresee that happening. However, we are behind in terms of upgrading some of the system, in terms of catching up with the capacity issues. But specifically the Brixton area, there is now a second reservoir that is being built there. However, these infrastructure projects, they take a bit of a long time. We're anticipating over the next 2 years, we will have that additional storage capacity in the system, which will address the constraints that are on the system. But in terms of a complete shutdown or a complete no water in the entire system, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But we may have these interruptions isolated in certain areas where we have to introduce load shifting, move water from one system to another, so that we can have a sort of relief for the residents that are in the constrained and affected areas. Thank you.
Besides just Brixton, any other area that perhaps you'd like us to warn us of that may be experiencing similar challenges as Brixton?
It has been a challenge to manage and operate South Hills over the past 2 weeks, 2 months, to say. But over the past 2 weeks, we've managed to restore some form of a constant supply in that area. And over the past 2 weeks, we've been pumping and we've been supplying normally to the tower. We've flushed the system, and that system has been affected for so long. So we now on the right direction to keep that system stable, and we are hoping and praying that there is no disruption. But now the issue has been extended to the areas of Midrand, to Fenton, but over the week now, we have managed to stabilize the system in terms of balancing the incoming supply with the demand that are on those systems. So we are in the right direction in terms of recovering those systems in the Midrand to Fenton area, but we do have challenges in the areas of Berea and Alexandra Park, where we still have an issue of high consumption and the high demand in those systems. They are affecting the recovery of those systems. They are quite slow, but we do have challenges. The Crown Gardens to Melo has been a challenge as well, but over the past week, we've actually managed to improve in terms of the incoming supply and balancing the demand. And the system is almost fully restored. And maybe pockets there where there's still challenges, but it's been supplying normal over the past week. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, Gugulethu. A pleasure having you on. Just to also clarify, what exactly are the challenges out in Brixton? Also, other areas we understand in the city of Johannesburg that may be experiencing some water cuts. That's Gugulethu Quma for us in this hour, the Joburg Water's electro-mechanical manager.